Right. So in the previous class, we discussed about the functions of liver and functions of kidney, and there are associated tests with that, multiple named reactions. So in this class, we'll finish thyroid and we'll do one extension of kidney function test, which is checking urine. It's what are the normal constituents and what are the associated disorders if there is a problem. So coming back to thyroid, uh, what are the functions of thyroid? So last class, I had asked you guys to read about this. What are the functions of thyroid? What does your thyroid gland do?
To development.
Yeah, go ahead. You didn't finish your sentence. To develop what?
Sorry, sir. To development to human body.
Okay. General growth and development.
Sir,
Anything else?
metabolism, growth,
Metabolism. What did you say? The next word I wasn't able to hear you. Your voice cut.
many
and
horm-
development human body.
Okay. Growth,
many
metabolism.
hormones are secreted by from
Okay.
thyroid.
What hormones?
T3, T4.
Okay. And T3,
T-
T4 are responsible for taking out for causing all the actions of thyroid. So these are hormones that work on an intracellular level. Normally, you will see that. Let us suppose this is a ordinary cell, any random cell, and if I want to, let's suppose, perform the action of adrenaline on it. Example, ठीक है? आप लोगों को adrenaline के बारे में तो कभी सुने होंगे ना? I'm sure. So adrenaline is a adrenergic drug, kind of adrenergic hormone भी बोल सकते हो उसको. Now you will have adrenergic receptors present on your cells. ठीक है? Specifically, adrenergic receptors are alpha and beta. Next year, when you study about pharmacology, we'll go into more detail, but you'll study about it in more detail. But essentially, adrenergic receptors जो है अल्फा या बीटा रिसेप्टर को कंफर्म करते हैं. मीनिंग या तो ये रिसेप्टर अल्फा टाइप रहना या एक रिसेप्टर बीटा टाइप रहना, वो दोनों को ही जाके अटैच होगा ये. ठीक है? It will not attach to any other receptor, and these have subtypes: alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, so on and so forth. These are surface level receptors and surface level hormones, meaning, as you can see, it is only acting on the surface of the cell. Okay, it is not going inside the cell. Thyroid hormones, on the other hand, go inside the cell. They will act on the nucleus of the cell. So they are receptors, intracellular nuclear receptors भी बोलते हैं उन लोगों को. These receptors are present on the nucleus of the cell. So let us suppose this is the nucleus. यहाँ पर रहता है ये receptor. T3 and T4 go and stimulate this one. ठीक है? And it will produce the action whatever it is performing. अब जैसा growth है या development है, digestion है, whatever function is being performed by thyroid, it is induced in such a way. Okay. Any other function? T3, T4 को secrete करने के अलावा? Does it have any function on heart? Acha. So it will increase contractions of your heart. Technically, it will increase your heart rate. Okay, that is one function of your thyroid hormones. Other than that, if you look at extension of metabolic function, you can tell it is responsible for synthesis of proteins and carbohydrates in your body. It will help in degradation of cholesterol and triglycerides into simpler units so that they can be used. It will enhance the effect of beta adrenergic receptors to catecholamines. So catecholamines will include norepinephrine, adrenaline, epinephrine, डोपामीन, ये पूरों का जो इफेक्ट रहता रिसेप्टर्स पे उनकी सेंसिटिविटी बढ़ा देता. सो दैट रिसेप्टर becomes more sensitive to even low amounts of adrenaline. You'll be able to get higher effect from the same amount of adrenaline if it is more sensitive, if the receptor is more sensitive. It has it also increases vitamin requirements in your body and helps in growth in a way indirectly, other than direct increase as well. So you see there are a lot of functions of thyroid. Now in case there is a problem with T3 and T4 levels, sometimes there can be a problem with TSH as well. So what is TSH? Kabhi TSH
Thy-
सुना?
thyroid stimulating hormones.
Yes. So thyroid stimulating hormone करता क्या? What does TSH do?
Thyroid secret करता है ना.
Okay, it will stimulate your thyroid gland to secrete T3 and T4. So without TSH, you cannot have T3 and T4 being secreted. Correct? And TSH को कौन secrete कर रहा? There is a gland that starts with the name P, or the letter P. Pituitary. Anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary secretes TSH, which will in turn stimulate your thyroid gland. Now, anterior pituitary in turn gets stimulated with the help of hypothalamus. Hypothalamus secretes TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone. Thyrotropin releasing hormone stimulates anterior pituitary to secrete TSH. TSH in turn stimulates thyroid gland to secrete T3 and T4. So it is a axis. इसको एक cycle जैसा consider करते. H P T axis बोलते हैं इसको. ठीक है? Hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid axis. Now you have multiple different axes. Axis is singular, access is plural. Okay, this is not excess, access. So for example, let us suppose hypothalamus pituitary का function adrenal glands पे रहता. Adrenal glands. So HAA axis बन जाता. Then you can have another HPA axis बन जाता. You can have another HPT axis where it is working on testes, or it is working on ovaries, so on and so forth. There are multiple different locations where the hormones of pituitary, anterior pituitary secretes some 9 to 11 different hormones. हर एक का अलग अलग particular endocrine gland पे अलग effect रहता. So they will stimulate or they will inhibit certain functions. Now specifically with respect to thyroid, this secretion of T3 and T4 is regulated by negative feedback mechanism. What is negative feedback mechanism? Now we studied about this in water and this thing, water and electrolyte balance. I'll just repeat it once, just in case you forgot about it. Let us suppose now, before we get into this, T3 and T4 के बारे में आप लोगों को क्या मालूम? Other than that, they are thyroid hormones. अच्छा, ब्लड में ज्यादा क्या रहता, T3 या T4? Okay, so just in case you do not know that, T4 is the main circulatory hormone, meaning in your blood most of the time in higher concentration you will find T4. Okay, this T3 is the action hormone. So essentially what happens is, on a cellular level, let us suppose I have a cell like this. ठीक है, बाजू से आपका ब्लड जा रहा. ठीक है, ब्लड वेसल्स है, वहां पर से ब्लड जा रहा. Now let us suppose you have T4 that is moving around in this fashion here. Whenever it is required, T4 will go inside into the cell. T4 gets converted into T3 inside the cell, and the effect of thyroid gland, or the effect of thyroid hormone growth raho, या whatever the effect is, metabolic function hai, that is carried out by T3. T3 is a more potent enzyme or more potent hormone with respect to action. But T3 is not easily circulated in your blood. T4 can be easily circulated in your blood. So what you see is that in blood, T4 ka quantity will be higher than T3, but inside a cell, intracellularly, the volume of T3 or the concentration of T3 will be much higher than T4. I'll repeat that point once again. Whenever your thyroid gland is secreting T3 and T4, you'll generally see that the amount of T4 that is being secreted will be higher. Okay, because that is the circulatory hormone. In circulation in blood, the most of the thyroid hormone will be T4. It does not mean that T3 nahi rehta blood mein, rehta but kam rehta. Okay, there is little amount of T3 present inside your blood, but not significant enough. But this T4, whenever your, let's suppose there your hypothalamus is inducing a function in an endocrine gland, or it wants to induce a function in your endocrine gland, it will stimulate anterior pituitary, which in turn will stimulate your thyroid, which will secrete T4. T4 goes to that endocrine gland, and inside that endocrine gland cell, it will get converted into T3. T3 is the one that acts on the nucleus of that cell, and the nuclear receptor जो रहता है cell के अंदर का, and it will produce the function out of the cell, whether it is endocrinal secretion, whether it is metabolic function, whether it is growth function, whatever it is, XYZ. Okay, so that is how T4 is and how T3 works. So T3 is the main action hormone, T4 is the circulatory hormone. Now if for whatever reason, let us suppose T4 का concentration blood में कम हो गया, ठीक है, technically T3 and T4 levels both are down. Okay, if T4 is down, T3 will also go down. So because T4 is getting converted into T3. Now let us suppose for whatever reason the amount of T4 in your blood goes down. Okay, whenever this concentration of T4 goes down in your blood, there is a negative feedback loop given to your brain. So essentially you will see that the normal amount of T4 in serum is somewhere around, total बोल रहा मैं, free नहीं, ठीक है, total T4 is around 4.5 to 12.5 microgram per deciliter. If you look only at the free T4, free T4 in serum will be around 0.8 to 1.8 nanogram per deciliter. So this is microgram, this is nanogram. Micro is 10 power minus 6, nano is 10 power minus 9. So why this difference? There is a particular protein present in your blood called thyroxine binding protein or thyroxine binding globulin, TBG बोलते हैं उसको. TBG is responsible for movement of your thyroid hormone, specifically T4. जैसा आपके ऑक्सीजन को हीमोग्लोबिन कैरी करता, the same way to carry your T4 you need TBG. So most of the time you will see that the maximum amount of T4 in your blood is carried by TBG. Whatever is free, whatever is unbound or which is not attached to DPG, only that will be able to enter into cell. ठीक है, अगर let us suppose this is the protein TBG, इसको अगर T4 अटैच्ड है, ठीक है, this plus free T4 in your blood, that will give you total T4, total amount of T4 in your blood. Most of the time this is much more higher in concentration when compared to this. ठीक है, free T4 का concentration बहुत कम रहता है आपके blood में when compared to TBG bound T4. TBG is thyroxine binding globulin. Now anyway, coming back to our point, let us suppose T4 and T3 levels कम हो गए. This will send a negative feedback loop to your brain, specifically to your hypothalamus. And in turn, hypothalamus will increase its stimulation to anterior pituitary, which will in turn increase its stimulation to thyroid gland. So increase in TSH level, and ultimately what will happen is this level will slowly start to rise up. It will slowly start to come back to normal. Now let us suppose it has come back to normal and it is breaching normal. It is going in excess quantity now. So the end of red arrow is essentially, let us suppose up to this point is normal level. अब इसके ऊपर जो जा रहा वो abnormally high level में जा रहा. Whenever this again goes into higher level, what happens is this again sends a signal to your brain. There are specific receptors present in your brain. They will sense this change in the hormone level and they will send a stimulus to your brain. This stimulus that is going back is called negative feedback. Okay, this whole loop is called negative feedback loop. Okay, so whenever there is excess, your brain will be stimulated to shut down the function of hypothalamus, or at least decrease the production of TRH, so that there is not as much stimulus to your thyroid gland, and hence T4 production decreases till it comes back to normal. Again, when it is going down, फिर उसका production बढ़ जाता. So that is how that loop occurs. जब भी कम हो रहा production बढ़ जाता, जब भी ज़्यादा हो रहा production कम हो जाता. I hope you understood this negative feedback loop. ये समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, how do you suspect if someone has hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism? Now, a lot of time in India, it is very common for people. A lot of people are affected by hyper or hypothyroidism, mostly hyperthyroidism. So, you will generally see people claiming that they have thyroid. ठीक है, it is very common amongst your relatives as well. You will find that उनको क्या तकलीफ हुई या why did they go to hospital बता उनको thyroid आ गया बोलते हैं. So that is kind of a very funny thing, because think about it, everyone has a thyroid gland. Thyroid आ गया मतलब या heart आ गया मतलब, that does not make sense really. It is either hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism which you have to look for in any scenario from a clinical perspective. So that's a funny bit that I generally found in my own family. So if you, let us suppose, if you're looking specifically for signs and symptoms of hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism, there are a few criteria on which you can suspect whether or not a person has hyper or hypothyroidism based on the signs and symptoms that they are showing. So for example, if a person has goiter, what is goiter? Goiter is inflammation of your thyroid gland. This will be inflamed because T3 T4 levels बहुत कम हो गए and there is excessive stimulus to your thyroid gland. Because of whatever reason, thyroid is not able to produce T3 T4, but there is that negative feedback loop, and because of that continuous negative feedback loop, your thyroid gland is continuously getting more and more stimulus to a point that what will happen is your thyroid gland will start increasing in size to meet the demand. Okay, but because of whatever reason, either the thyroid gland is damaged or there is increased amount of thyroid binding globulin. जब भी thyroid binding globulin को attached रहेगा T4, it will not be able to show its function. So technically speaking, what will happen is T3 T4 levels will be low in your blood even though they are high. अब समझो अगर TBG ऐसा है and इसको T4 attached है, until and unless this T4 is free, it will not be able to show any thyroid function as such. So even if you have very high levels of T4 in your blood, which is bound to TBG, technically speaking, you are in hypothyroidism because you are not able, your body is not able to witness any changes in their in itself with the help of thyroid gland, because thyroid gland free nahi hai. So that can be a reason, even if the thyroid is producing higher amount of T4 and more it is getting a stimulus from the upper structures which are your hypothalamus and pituitary, it will start adapting itself and it will start increasing in size, and as a result what will happen is you will see that their thyroid glands will inflame, it will increase in size literally, and it will come out as a bulge like this. Some people will have a much more prominent bulge than this. I'm showing this only as a representation. You will see some people will have a very huge bulge where almost the whole of their neck will disappear to that extent. इतना बड़ा bulge रहता. That's a goiter. Goiter is a condition in which you have a very high suspicion that the patient might be having hypothyroidism and delayed reflexes. Muscular contraction occurs with the help of thyroid glands. अगर reflexes बहुत slow हो गए patient के, reflexes are a part of your neuromuscular function. ठीक है? So reflex is anything wherein you are responding to something which is immediate and sudden very quickly. So for example, let us suppose you see an object which is falling down. So you know instinctively without voluntary control, okay, you immediately go and like before you are actually voluntarily thinking about it, your body is actually holding that object or you're catching that object. That is a reflex. ठीक है. Or for example, let us suppose when you touch something which is very hot, immediately you will remove your hand. ठीक है. You will not think अच्छा अभी जल रहा निकालना चाहिए ना, हाँ निकाल देंगे बोल के. You will not think of all of that. As soon as you touch something hot, immediately your body will respond. After that you realize that okay, it might have been hot, that is why I removed it. That is an instinctual response, that is a reflex. So if reflexes are delayed, then it can be hypothyroidism. Goiter sometimes can also be because of hyperthyroidism. Sometimes, very rare cases, it can be because of hyperthyroidism. There is something called, in both the cases, अगर goiter आया, you will have to test for the patient's blood picture लेना पड़ता आपको. Hypo रहने दो या hyper रहने दो, there is a problem. Most of the time, the goiter presents in hypothyroidism rather than hyper. Anyway, there is something called thyroid bruit. Okay. This thyroid bruit essentially are sounds that you will be able to hear over the thyroid mass. So for example, let us suppose a patient's thyroid gland is slightly inflamed because of whatever reason. Let us suppose वहाँ पर thyroid gland is working excessively, and if it is working excessively, it will require more oxygen. Think of it this way: if you are running, when compared to if you are just walking, the consumption of oxygen by your heart will be very different. Let us suppose if you are walking very casually, the consumption of your heart, consumption of oxygen by your heart will be normal. Versus if you start jogging or running, the consumption of your heart will increase significantly because it has to pump blood at a higher rate. Blood pressure will automatically go up. Now in this scenario, the theory is that because of hyperthyroidism, we are suspecting that the thyroid gland is working excessively. If it is working excessively, it will need more blood and more oxygen. Obviously, each cell needs a certain amount of oxygen, and if it is very active, then it will need higher amount of that. If there is higher requirement of blood, what will happen is angiogenesis will occur in that area. New blood vessels will be formed, and you will see that blood vessels will be more in number near the thyroid gland. And as a result, what you'll be able to hear is you'll be able to hear heart sounds near your thyroid gland. Not exactly heart sounds, but you'll be able to hear the vigorous flow of blood near your thyroid gland, which should normally not be present. Okay, normally it should not be present. Only in this condition where there are more number of blood vessels near your heart, you'll be able to hear that sound. You use a stethoscope, put it over the person's thyroid gland, you'll be able to hear that sound. Proliferation of blood vessels and increased pressure of blood, वो सुन सकते हैं आप literally. Other than that, there will be lid lag. So what is lid lag? I'll show you what is lid lag. One second. अब देखो, thyrotoxicosis is a condition in which there is extremely high amounts of T3 T4 in your blood. That condition is fatal. Not, even if it is not fatal, it is a medical emergency. So anyway, very high amount of thyroid hormones है. So इसमें हो रहा क्या? Normally आप देखो, if you look up and you look down, your upper eyelid will come down automatically. In case of thyrotoxicosis, that eyelid will not come down normally. That is the lag that is being created in the upper eyelid. If you can observe here on the picture to the left, you can see that whenever that person is looking up and they look in front forward, their upper eyelid will follow their eye. Okay, and automatically if they're looking up, in order to remove that obstruction, your upper eyelid will go up and it will automatically come down. That is normal. In lid lag, what happens is after you look up and look forward, your lid will take some time for it will take some time for your lid to come back down. Okay, the upper lid takes some time to come back down. So that is essentially lid lag that can be observed in hyperthyroidism. And even proptosis. Proptosis is essentially bulging of protrusion of eye. Eye will literally, it will look like the eye is coming out of the socket. Okay, if you see certain people, you'll be able to see that people who have thyrotoxicosis, unki aankh, it will almost seem like their eye is coming out of their eye socket. This is because of increased pressure. Okay, it will become very prominent. The eye will become very prominent. It will start coming down. Now there are other intermediate suspicion and low suspicion signs and symptoms for hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism as well. For example, let us suppose if we discuss about intermediate suspicion. So highest suspicion, ये ये चीजों का रहता है. If a person has lid lag, proptosis, goiter, or thyroid, you will suspect hyperthyroidism. If a patient has delayed reflexes and goiter, you will suspect hypothyroidism. Intermediate suspicion के लिए यहाँ पर there is fatigue, though fatigue is common in both of them. Fatigue will occur in this as well as in this. इसमें weight gain होता, ठीक है. और you can also tell difficulty in losing weight. Some people, because of hypothyroidism, they'll not be able to lose their body weight as easily as no other people. And यहाँ पर weight loss despite increased appetite. This is because of alteration in your metabolism, both of these. Okay, weight gain or weight loss. There are other conditions as well. For example, for hypothyroidism, the patient will not be able to tolerate cold conditions. बहुत सर्दी होती है उनको. Their skin will become dry, rough, very pale. They'll have constipation. Their voice will become very hoarse. बहुत rough हो जाती है उनकी आवाज. In case of hyperthyroidism, there will be heat intolerance. They'll become very hot. So both pasina aane lagta, they'll sweat a lot, and even at normal temperatures, they'll feel very warm. There will be fine tremors in their hands and then feet. Heart rate will go up, palpitations hote. They might have a staring gaze. Okay. They will stare at one location for a very long period of time. So these are some of the uh, this thing signs and symptoms. And even in hypothyroidism, some people will have hair loss as well. Dry hair and hair loss bhi hota because of hypothyroidism. In case of hyperthyroidism, people will have insomnia. They'll not be able to sleep. They might have nervousness, anxiety हो सकती है, या breathlessness भी हो सकता. In any scenario, these are disorders related to your thyroid gland. Now, mainly when you perform thyroid function test, you will check for the person's TSH levels. What is the level of their thyroid stimulating hormone? You will obviously check for T3 and T4 blood levels. You will check for thyroid antibodies. So the theory is that if there are a lot of thyroid antibodies present in your blood, they will start damaging your thyroid gland. That can cause hypothyroidism. So that you will check for thyroid antibodies. You will perform an ultrasound. You will perform CT scan. This is to check whether the size of the thyroid literally बढ़ गया, कम हुआ, क्या हुआ. Then there is something called a nuclear medicine test. So in this, what you do is you will give radioactive iodine to the patient. Normally, iodine is very, very important for your body because iodine ke bina you cannot make T3 and T4. Literally, your thyroid cells will require iodine to convert. Iodine will be converted through multiple reactions into T3 and T4. It will be part of T3 and T4. So what you do is you take radioactive iodine and you give it to the patient. Now, if the patient has normal absorption, normal thyroid functioning, you will see that there is a certain amount of iodine that is absorbed by a thyroid gland and it is processed. In that process, what will happen is thyroid gland will become radioactive and it will start. If you observe it under a particular type of scanner, you'll be able to see that the thyroid gland will have a certain amount of radiance. It will show up brightly in a particular test. Now, if let us suppose it is absorbing radioactive iodine excessively, or if it is not absorbing normal amount of iodine, वो दिख जाता radiance से. You will compare it to standard radiance or standard brightness. ठीक है. Normally, let us suppose there should be certain amount of brightness. उससे ज़्यादा bright दिख रहा हुआ तो there is excessive absorption of iodine, leading to hyperthyroidism or leading to higher amount of thyroid hormones, or there is not enough radiance or brightness leading to hypothyroidism or decreased production of thyroid. There are multiple interpretations and all of that. So that is essentially radio nuclear medicine test. उसके अलावा आप एक और टेस्ट करते हैं which is fine needle aspiration. Fine needle aspiration biopsy. So any biopsy, you are essentially putting a needle into the person's organ, cutting a small piece of that person's organ, and you're checking the cells for their normal function. You do the same for thyroid. You put a very very fine needle into the person's thyroid, you will inject it. It will have a small piece of how should I put it, kind of like a plier, which will cut a few cells from the thyroid gland, and you will withdraw that needle. Later on you'll be able to examine the cells of that person's thyroid in a microscope, and you'll be able to see if there are any abnormalities in the person's cell. So those are all the tests that you do with respect to thyroid function. Now coming to urine, you have a whole chapter for urine. It is just a bunch of named reactions. Benedict's test, Hayes test, sulfur dale, ye color kare, wo color kare. That is it. You'll check for what are abnormal and normal constituents in blood, in urine essentially. Now I'll just discuss what should be the normal and abnormal constituents. The tests will come after what is this. Okay. So normally, what is the normal amount of urine that a person excretes in a day? What is normal urine output? Any guesses? अच्छा ठीक है. How much?
20.
Excuse me. Can you repeat that, Regia? I wasn't able to hear you. Your voice was very choppy.
12 to 20.
I'm unable to hear you. 20. Can you put that in the chat box, please?
Sir, 12 to 20.
Again, your voice is very choppy. I'm not able to hear you clearly. Chat में लिख दो बेटा. Anyone else?
2 or 3 liters per day.
2 to 3 liters per day. This is the amount that you urinate per day. 12 to 20 grams per day. How are you measuring urine in grams, beta? I thought urine is measured in liters because it is liquid. किसी की यूरिन सॉलिड आ रही क्या? आप कुछ खतरनाक काम तो नहीं कर रहे? ग्राम्स में कैसा मेजर कर रहे हैं?
800 to 2000 milliliters.
800 to 2000 milliliters. So essentially 0.8 to 2 liters is what you're telling, right? उसका मतलब वही है. So अच्छा, think of it this way. What is the normal amount that you are supposed to drink every day? Water, not urine. How much water should you drink per day?
4 to 5 liters.
4 to 5 liters is certainly quite a lot. Any other guesses? So normally, now this is again subjective to the region that a person is living in. If they are living in a hotter climate, generally, definitely their water consumption will be higher, 4 to 5, even 5.5, 6 liters sometimes. But on an average, on normal temperatures, intake should be somewhere around 3 to 4 liters. Now, out of 3 to 4 liters, almost 60% is retained by your body. Only a small fraction is excreted out. Okay? Normally, the amount of urine that should be urinated in an adult for 24 hours will be 1.2 to 1.5 liters. Now, again, in conditions where, let us suppose if they are living in extremely cold conditions, jab amount of urination that comes is higher, and if they are certainly increasing their water input, if they're drinking more water, again urination will be higher. But there are other ways as well. For example, let us suppose there is some person who lives in a very very hot and dry place. For example, let us suppose they live in some place like Rajasthan or some very hot area essentially. वहां पर 4 to 5 liters भी पिए तो their urine output might be normal, but they'll sweat a lot. Okay, so that is another way through water, how water is being excreted out of your body. Now normally we'll take 1.2 to 1.5 liters, and if there is lesser secretion, that is abnormal. Large volume, large intake of water generally leads to higher, but more often than not you will see that patients who have kidney disorders, they will have lower urinary output, less than 1200 ml, and sometimes even less than 500 ml. That will be in severe kidney damage. Okay, less than 500 ml. Okay, what is the normal color of urine?
Light yellow.
Yes.
Technically it should be like, if you are drinking 3 to 4 liters per day every day, if you are maintaining that, you will generally have straw colored urine. Okay, almost translucent straw colored urine. But more often than not, what will happen is people forget to drink enough amount of water, and urine will get slightly more concentrated. You will have urobilinogen present in urine, which will give you the color yellow. So because of which, what will happen is zara light yellow hota. If you drink very low amount of water, this will become very darker, dark amber colored, or dark orange colored. Okay, if there is abnormalities, red, dark brown, mucus, or thick viscous urine वैसा भी आता, those are all abnormalities. ठीक है, then if we talk about odor, normally it should be faintly aromatic. Your urine will have faint aromatic odor. And if there is some health issue going on, if any abnormality, will be when a person has a very foul smelling urine. Okay, now color also will depend again on multiple factors. If they have some disease, या फिर if they have hematuria, that is suppose kidney damage है, तो urine में blood आने लगता, that is why it will become bright red or rusty red or things like that. If there is menstrual bleeding, sometimes urine can be colored, it can be confused with hematuria. White blood cells might enter into your urine, prostatic fluid might enter into your urine, vaginal drainage might enter your urine. All of these will make the urine slightly cloudy. Versus if we talk about smell, certain foods like asparagus ले लो. Asparagus will give a very musty odor to your urine. Infected urine will generally have a very putrid odor, very bad smell. Literally सड़ी हुई smell आती है उसमें से. Like something is rotting inside your body. If there is like severe infection in the person, fungal infection especially. If there is high glucose concentration in urine, there will be a sweet smell. Okay, if a person has diabetes, उनकी urine में generally sweet smell आती, because there is very high amount of glucose present in their urine. Then if you look at sterility, another property which is sterility. Sterility refers to the presence of microorganisms. Normally, there should be no to almost minimal nil amount of microorganisms present in your urine. Very little or almost none. But in case of infections, abnormally, you will see microorganisms present. Whether it is, you know, infection of your kidney, or generally it is kidney infection. Mostly bacterial infection की वजह से UTI रहने दो या कोई और infection रहने दो, in that scenario you will see microorganisms present in the person's urine. Then pH देखें तो आप, normally your pH of the urine should be close to 6. Anything more than 6 or anything less than 6 is abnormal. Slight variation is fine. मतलब 5.8 to 6.2 and so on, जर्रा इधर उधर चलता. But if it is going very like, for example, let us suppose if it is going 5.5 to 7 or something, then it is a big abnormality. Slight variations are fine. This will depend on the amount of uric acid present in the urine, and various constituents of urine, which will give the acidity or basicity to the urine. Then उसके अलावा, see, pH is also influenced by what you are eating. Very big influence is what you eat. If you eat anything which is alkaline, fruits, vegetables, जो भी alkaline है, आप अगर खाए तो urine का pH बढ़ जाता. If you eat something which is very acidic, something citrusy, or any let's suppose cranberries खाए आप, या कोई proteinaceous food खाए, तो generally pH कम हो जाता, because it will make the urine more acidic. ठीक है. Then glucose. Normally, glucose should not be present in your urine. Okay, as I told you in the last class, there is a threshold limit of 180 mg per dl, meaning only if your blood glucose level goes over 180 milligrams per deciliter, you will start seeing glucose in the person's urine. Meaning only in case of abnormality, you will see glucose in the person's urine. Normally, it should not be present. Same for ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are produced when your liver metabolizes fat. ठीक है, अब समझो, imagine there is a diabetic patient. वो diabetic patient में we know that glucose cannot be used by their cells, that is why their blood glucose level is going up. ठीक है, cell है, blood में glucose है, but the glucose is not able to go inside the cell because either insulin receptor is not working or insulin is not present altogether. Either scenario mein glucose is not able to enter into the cell and it is not able to be utilized. As a result, blood glucose level will start going up. Now your cells need to survive and they need another alternate source of energy. That alternate source of energy will come from fat. Adipose tissue will be broken down and essentially fat will be metabolized by your liver to produce ketone bodies. Acetone, acetoacetone, beta hydroxybutyrate, तीन अलग टाइप ऑफ कीटोन्स है आपके बॉडी में नॉर्मली जो प्रेजेंट रहते हैं. ये तीन कीटोन बॉडीज जो है, normally a little amount of ketone bodies are produced, but they are not as much where they will be excreted in your urine. Only if, let us suppose someone has been suffering from diabetes for a long period of time and you will see that diabetic patients become very very thin. That is because all of their adipose tissue is being used in this manner, and in their urine you will see a lot of ketones present. Even in cases of starvation, if you are not eating enough amount of food, in that scenario also ketone bodies बढ़ जाते. Or if anyone has consumed a lot of aspirin, एस्पिरिन जो ड्रग है थोड़े लोग हेडेक के लिए, पेन के लिए लेते, that aspirin, if you eat excessively, that can also cause ketone bodies to be present in your urine. It is not normal. ठीक है, so as long as you remove aspirin, ketone bodies will be absent from your urine, or they will get removed. या फिर आप खाना खाए तो फिर ketone bodies are removed. But in case of diabetes, there's not much you can do because until unless you take drugs, they will not go away. Then finally, blood. Blood is another constituent of urine that should normally not be present. There should be no blood in your urine. If there is blood, okay, there is a problem. Either there is some damage in your urinary tract or kidney, or there might be some other damage in your body which is, connecting to your kidney and it is causing kidney to release blood into your urine. Normally, the constituents that you do find in your urine, तो यूरिन में क्या क्या रहना है असल normally. So major constituents will be albumin, sorry, albumin बोल रहा, albumin is abnormal, urea, ammonia, nitrogenous compounds in general. You will see creatine.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Who had a doubt? Someone told, sir. Okay. Creatine, creatinine. Salts. Okay. Yeah. Salts. Definitely. You will see, especially. Now it depends on what type of salts. Bile salts are abnormal, but certain ammoniacal salts are normal. Okay. Uric acid, but very very trace quantities. Bile salts are abnormal. Bile salts नहीं रहना urine में. Bile salts है बोले तो problem है. Other salts may be a small amount. Amino acids. This is amino acid, okay. Then उसके अलावा there's a product called allantoin. ठीक है. Allantoin is a end product of purine metabolism. After you metabolize purines, you will get allantoin. Then sulfates. ठीक है. सल्फर कंपाउंड्स, मिथियोनाइन एंड सिस्टीन, जनरली जो अमाइनो एसिड्स रहते हैं उससे आपको सल्फर मिलता, उनको जब भी ब्रेक डाउन करते. क्लोरीन, मिनरल्स, ऑक्सैलोएसिटेट्स, ऑक्सलेट्स, फॉस्फेट्स, certain enzymes, pancreatic enzymes, trypsin, lipase, pepsin, amylase, थोड़े hormones, testosterone, थोड़े vitamins B1, C, all of these are normal constituents, but these will be very, very small constituents. If you look at abnormal constituents, first will come proteins. So इसमें आता है आपका albumin, ठीक है. Generally it will be associated with some sort of damage to your kidney, ठीक है. If there are proteins being excreted out in your urine, there is kidney damage in the patient. Then if there is hemoglobin, let us suppose, there will be kidney and urinary tract damage or urinary tract damage. अगर glucose है तो diabetes है patient को. Associated disorders रहते. ग्लूकोस अगर दिख रहा आपके यूरिन में तो डायबिटीज हो सकता. ये दो है तो किडनी डैमेज. If there are other sugars also, ketone bodies might also appear in case of diabetes. Ketone bodies also appear in case of starvation. Then bile salts and bile pigments in excess. Normally there is one pigment that you will see in urine, that is urobilinogen. आपके bilirubin जो है, it will get converted into urobilinogen or stercobilin. Urobilinogen, most of the bilirubin in your body is excreted out in the form of urobilinogen and urine. That is what gives you your urine, your yellowish color. अगर urobilinogen बहुत ज़्यादा है तो deeper color आता. And the rest of the part will go into your feces as stercobilin. If a person is having obstructive jaundice, their urine will not have yellow color and their feces will not be yellow in color. Clay colored feces aata hai. That will be in problem where stercobilin is not being formed. Anyway, so bile salts and bile pigments. बाइल एसिड से आपके बाइल सॉल्ट्स बनाते हैं. सो कीनोडिऑक्सीकोलिक एसिड एंड कोलिक एसिड से. और टोरो उसके सोडियम एंड पोटेशियम सॉल्ट्स जो है वो abnormal है. Porphyrins, urobilinogen in excess, generally excessive hemolysis की वजह से, अगर if there is hemolytic jaundice या pernicious anemia, उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा urobilinogen दिखने लगता. Blood is another abnormal constituent, should not be present. So these are some of the abnormal constituents of urine. Now you can perform multiple tests. There is Benedict's test, Fehling's test, XYZ. There are multiple different tests to observe what are the constituents that might be present in urine that are abnormal, and how you can detect it. Ketones के लिए एक test है, bile pigments के लिए एक test है. You will find to test for proteins in urine, to test for blood in urine, so on and so forth. There are multiple different tests. Just even if you memorize one test per this thing, one test per abnormality, or one test for, let's suppose, protein के लिए, blood के लिए, ketone bodies के लिए, it will be enough. So with that, we have officially finished your syllabus, your biochemistry.